Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the top buffs for the Ultra League for Season 17. And yeah, we're gonna take a look at some Pokemon that got buffed either directly or indirectly for the season and that you definitely should try to build if you can, as those are going to be top meta. Some of them actually really got a buff even though they didn't even change at all in terms of their moveset or anything like this. So going to be an interesting one here, but feel free to subscribe and leave a like if you haven't already if you enjoy this type of videos. If not, don't do it. But let's take a look at the first Pokemon. Of course, the one here that got directly buffed is Talonflame. Talonflame XL variant, you need the fully XL variant of this one. You need also kinda a level 50 variant, which has 15, 15, 15 as IVs. I think you could also go for a best buddy variant, which has a little bit less HP or something like this, which is going to be better, but it doesn't matter. Like, go for a Hundo, go for your level 50 variant, and as you can see here, this Pokemon got Incinerate and as well the Fly move, and as you can see as well, from rank 69, which is very nice, we're going to go up to rank 13 for the Open Ultra League, making this Pokemon top tier meta. And you see on the right side all the top meta matchups, basically the PvPoke set as well. We're going to have here Verizon, we have the Cresselia, we're going to have the Steelix, which is going to be really bad in the Ultra League nowadays. I mean, at least in calculations, it's a little bit better in real life though, but yeah. In real life? Like, when you actually play it, I mean. But we're going to also have Toxicroak, which got a buff, which I don't have in this list because the buff is not really that crazy. And we're going to have also the Cobalium, which is going to be interesting as one matchup. Also, do you want to see a video about Pokemon that got nerfed this season for the Ultra League? Let me know down below in the comment section as well. As we can move on to the next Pokemon. We're going to have the Skarmory. Skarmory got Steel Wing. Steel Wing going to be a very good move, and it was at rank 255 last season. This season, we're going to be at rank 33. For the XL again, you need a level 51 or like a level 50 version of it again. Need a Hundo again for this Pokemon. I have one build actually, so I'm most likely going to try to take a look at this Pokemon as well, but here you see some matchups that are going to be positive. Interestingly enough, PvPoke set also against Greninja, which usually looks like a Pokemon that you wouldn't really beat because like the fast move is going to be resisted by a water type Pokemon, but I guess still Skarmory going to be too bulky for this, but otherwise of course against fire type Pokemon you're going to be fine, but especially against like something like the Verizon you're going to be very fine because you're going to do double super effective damage with Sky Attack as well as Brave Bird, and yeah, generally I think a very very neutral Pokemon for the Ultra League, so very strong pick here for sure. Moving on to the next one, it's going to be the Lanturn. Lanturn is not only good in the Great League, but also crazy good in the Ultra League. I took a look at the Ultra League Lanturn last season as well, built my own one, and I can say at least at the current time I don't regret it at all, because from rank 76, which was already fairly high for the Ultra League, this Pokemon got up to rank 20. And here, changes, not directly towards it, but Incinerate got buffed and Steel Wing got buffed, pushing Pokemon like the Talonflame, like the Skarmory, but like in general, a lot of fire-type Pokemon, a lot of flying-type Pokemon into the meta, while also getting rid of Steelix, which would have been a little bit of an awkward matchup beforehand. And so you're also going to have Pokemon buff like the Poliwrath, which you see on the right side. Lanturn is going to be a top-tier pick, and I think there was a Spotlight Hour recently as well. So if you have the XL candy, if you have a 100% again, you need a 100% variant of this Pokemon again at level 51, I think, again. Definitely worth building, definitely good Pokemon. Kinda want to take a look at this Pokemon as well here, because it's just going to beat most of the current Ultra League meta. Moving on to number 4, a pick that got directly buffed is going to be Staraptor, and again, take a look at the ranking from last season, 288 for the Ultra League. And this Pokemon now in this season going to be ranked 23, plus more than 250 ranks just from adding Fly onto this Pokemon. And it's going to be very important for this Pokemon, because always before you were kinda in an awkward spot where you had to debuff yourself whenever you wanted to throw a charge move, and now you have a very hard-hitting, fast, generating, and like basically you're just gonna get there very fast. I think you need 6 fast move with Wing Attack to get to a Fly. This Pokemon is just a lot of fun to play, and I think I definitely going to enjoy this one. I'm definitely going to take a look at this Pokemon as well. But otherwise, yeah, going to have great matchups. Even against Talonflame, apparently it's going to be able to win. Going to be able to win against Giratina. Being a part normal type is really important for this matchup. But going to have just really great matchups in general. You see here plus 15 as like the stat on the left side as well. It's kind of wild. But we can move on to the next one. Next one coming up, we're going to have Skeledirge. Skeledirge got buffed with Incinerate, but also kind of the meta. Nah, I mean, like the meta kind of shifted towards it a little bit, but also kind of not. But basically, Skeledirge was also a Pokemon that I showcased last season and had a lot of fun with, and honestly was most likely my most successful Pokemon for the Ultra League. And now the Incinerate buff actually makes this Pokemon top tier meta. From 137 to rank 22 in the Ultra League makes this Pokemon like so good. Again, you're going to be able to beat something like the Resian as well as the Cobalion, which are two of the Pokemon that got basically screwed over the most from the recent meta shifts, to be fair. So this Pokemon going to be amazing for the upcoming season, or like in general for this week and for also the next weeks of the Ultra League. But also what is kind of interesting to see here, you could actually in theory win against the Poliwrath because of the disarming voice, which is going to do super effective damage against them. It's just mad, like honestly, Incinerate buff makes a lot of Pokemon really solid, and this one of them for sure. Moving on to the next one, something that you might not really expect to see here as well is going to be the Dragonite. Yes, we kind of had like a similar stuff happening as well for the Great League, where Pokemon like the Dragonair and also the Dragonite, especially the Shadow variant, were able to perform a little bit better. But the same kind of goes also for the Ultra League, because Breaking Type got nerfed, so Steelix is kind of out of the meta, and Incinerate got buffed, Water types got buffed. And this kind of makes Dragonite one of the best picks that you can choose for the coming weeks. Going to only be, of course, plus 12 in the rankings. But here's the thing as well. It's easy, of course, to climb up from rank 288, like the Staraptor, to like a higher rank if you get a move update. But for not having a move update at all, going from 36 to 24 is really good for a Pokemon like this. It was already very solid before. So I would expect that Dragonite is going to be one of the strongest Pokemon in this current meta as well. So definitely try to get one. There's currently also this Pokemon in the Rocket Grunts, basically from like Cliff, I think it is. So definitely really cool Pokemon to get, definitely very strong. And again, all the Water type Pokemon that kind of got buffed, all the Fire type Pokemon that got buffed, really good for this Pokemon in general. Moving on to the next one, a Pokemon that you most likely not have built unless you most likely paid a little bit of money into the game, is going to be Deoxys Defense. This Pokemon needs to be fully XL again, as you have to do raids for this Pokemon as well, which is kind of awkward. And again, it didn't really get a single direct buff, but also even like Breaking Swipe nerf kind of make this Pokemon more viable, because yes, you do counter damage that's super effective against Steelix, but still your charge move don't hit them. And now you have a meta of like the Talonflame, which you can hit with a Rock Slide for double super effective damage. The Poliwrath, which you're going to be able to hit with the Psycho Boost for super effective damage. And like a lot of other Pokemon as well that you're going to just be able to kind of war with this thing here. And as you can see, gaining up 18 different, like 18 stats basically here for the Ultra League is really nice for this Pokemon. Definitely something that you should try out if you have this Pokemon again. I kind of found that it was like a little bit underperforming for me in recent seasons, but I feel like in this season, it's basically prime for this thing. Like it literally beats nearly all of the meta Pokemon. Of course, Giratina might be a little bit tricky, but we can move on into the next Pokemon, which is going to be the Tentacruel. Previously, rank 64 in the Ultra League, and still a very solid pick. You saw it still quite often, and now with Scald getting buffed and also the meta shifts a little bit, this Pokemon actually gains quite a bit of play more, as you can also beat something like the Poliwrath. Like literally this is the best answer for Poliwrath, so it's definitely going to be one of the best Pokemon that you could try and take a look at as well. But also Pokemon like the Talonflame don't want to face it. Yeah, Tapu Fini is going to be a Pokemon that most likely also going to be common, with the Talonflame being a little bit more common as well. So this Pokemon got up from 64 to rank 25 this season, which is kind of nice to see as well. So this Pokemon really got a buff here, and we can move on to the next one. Next one going to be one, of course, that a lot of people expected, but this is most likely the most crucial one in terms of how high it went up, because we're going to take a look at Poliwrath here. Getting the buff of Scald, getting the buff of Icy Wind, going to allow us to be a very bulky Pokemon, a very bulky fighter that can debuff the opponent's defense and has great coverage. So I would imagine that Poliwrath going to be on nearly everybody's team. And for good reasons. It can beat even flying type Pokemon thanks to Icy Wind, or even for like Talonflame thanks to Scald. It beats steel type Pokemon, which are really struggling this time around in the meta. It beats other water type Pokemon. It is just so strong, and you don't really have to be too scared of something like an Azumarill here. Yes, you have Tapu Fini, but the Azumarill matchup is way worse for you. And yeah, again, like this Pokemon got up to rank 3 plus 20, as well as you also have now, being in the top 3 meta picks is kind of wild. Like honestly, this Pokemon is going to be everywhere. It's kind of similar, I feel like, to the Medicham for the Great League before, because you have like this bulky fighting type Pokemon that can just take hits like it's nothing and still kind of have like a lot of damage output from like counter. So yeah, this Pokemon is going to be insane. Definitely worth getting if you haven't got this one yet. You need for counter though the Elite Fastium, but I feel like those are like not really that rare anyway. Moving on to the final pick for today is going to be actually a Pokemon that you might also not really expect here, but Giratina actually went from rank 7 last season to rank 2 this season. This is kind of wild because this Pokemon is going to be able to just have a better matchup against whatever got buffed now. Like you have Poliwrath, which is a fighting type Pokemon mainly, of course. There's Icy Wind, which is super effective, but the fast move is going to be double resisted. You're going to have Talonflame, where I would even say that Ancient Power might make a lot of sense in a lot of teams. If you saw the top team video that I released earlier as well, definitely check this one out, going to be linked in the end card later on as well. This is going to help out in a lot of teams as well to just have coverage against those Pokemon. Plus, just the entire meta is kind of really good for this thing. So definitely would recommend you to take a look at Giratina Altars as well if you have one. This is going to be it for this video. Do you want to see the same for like the negative variant of this one, where I take a look at all the Pokemon that got nerfed? Then let me know down below in the comment section. I'll see you then. Bye bye.